Hi guys, this is The Image of Men by Alan Watts. The Image of Men was a lecture that British philosopher Alan Watts gave in the 70s. Best known for popularizing Eastern philosophy to the West, Alan Watts presents in this talk a comparison between two belief systems that have influenced our civilization. Human beings have always wondered who they are, what is their purpose in this planet, how did existence manifest it, and what is the point of it all? In this quest for truth, certain beliefs have pervaded and filtered throughout societies and time. Watts explains the logic behind two of the most influential ones, the Judeo-Christian ceramic model and the Hinduist dramatic model. But first, he presented another definition for the word myth. Commonly used to signify a falsehood, a lie, an unsupported or incorrect belief, myth has another more subtle meaning. Myth also means a metaphor, a comparable example without technical rigor by which man is able to explain something. For example, when someone wants to understand electricity, but isn't familiar with the technical language surrounding it, one could use the water current in order to explain the flow of electric currents. Similarly, if you wanted to explain the expansion of the universe to someone without such scientific understanding, one could paint white dots on a black balloon and then inflate it to simulate and explain the actual expansion. The crucial idea of this is that obviously a water current isn't the same as an electric one. Neither is a balloon the same thing as the expanding universe. Not the same, but it's something like it. A way to explain a vastly more complex phenomena through simpler images. Myths then can be understood as images that represent complicated issues or ideas like the expansion of the universe, life, or existence itself. Warning. Before we move on, it is important to know that the belief systems presented in this lecture were taken at the understanding and promulgation of the popular level. Okay, let's move on. The first of these two great myths or models is the ceramic model. In this view of the world, an entity called God created the universe, the world, and man, much like a potter makes pots and clay figurines. Man is made out of the dust of the earth. After this, God blew the breath of life, or the soul, into man, thus becoming alive and conscious. God is seen as a personal being, a living intelligent spirit. Man, by contrast, is seen not as a creator, but as a creation, made in God's image, but different from God. The creature is no God and is less than God. This is important because this created what we know as the soul-matter duality. Now, what are the consequences of seeing the world as an artifact? Man followed this view as a way of understanding the universe, as a technical accomplishment. And if the universe was created, then there must be a blueprint for understanding God's creation. Throughout history, the purpose of man was to explain how the Creator did it. This went on up to a time where people no longer believed in the Judeo-Christian tradition. In the 18th century, people began realizing that in order to explain nature and all phenomena, the variable of the Creator wasn't all too necessary. So scientists dropped the idea of the Creator. This means that if you're a Christian or a Jew, you believe that the universe is an artifact, a creation of the intelligent spirit called God. But if you're an atheist or an agnostic, you may have disregarded the variable of God and replaced it with another, an automatic machine, a blind mathematical process. But there's a catch. When the intellectuals of the 17th century dropped the idea of the Creator, they inadvertently kept the image of the artifact. They killed the idea of the intelligent spirit and the soul by extension, but kept the idea of matter provided by the soul-matter duality's notion, meaning that the properties and assumptions of matter, which saw it as blind, dumb, mindless clay, was preserved. Man in this myth is seen as a creation, as a mere automatic one. But there was a problem with this too. The consensus was that we are sensitive living beings, that by a fluke have a reason and values such as love and thought. But it was a fluke because it happened within a fully automatic universe, which is stupid because it is automatic. It has no mind behind it. Within this view of the world, if man wants to maintain reason, morals, love, he then has to beat nature into submission in order to survive. Why? Because everything outside the sphere of mankind has no mind, no virtues. It is dead in a way. In both stages, the ceramic and the fully automatic model, man is seen as a creation made out of mere matter and identifies himself either with a divine spirit given by God or the fluke of mind generated by the blind processes of the fully automatic model. We have the perception of being a globule of consciousness inside a body. And since the world outside this body is mindless or soulless, it is stupid, we inevitably feel estranged from the world. In comparison to the rest of the universe and its scale, we feel tangential, insignificant, irrelevant, because our perception of ourselves is that of a mind or spirit looking at an outside world that is definitely not us. Continue to part 2, or get the hell out of here because you didn't like this video.